You think Biden could do this interview? Do you think that Kamala could do this interview? They would take a pass on you.
No, they could not.
It's pretty sad when you think that somebody that does this for a living can't answer a question or is afraid to do an interview.
Elon Musk's interview with President Trump hits 1 billion views, causing the media to have a meltdown. This is the Dvory Darkins Show. Alrighty, you guys know that President Trump did an interview with Elon Musk, and it took place on the X platform, and it was a very relaxing, calm, focused conversation, in my opinion. This wasn't an interview where it was filled with a bunch of got you questions trying to upset President Trump, and he was able to explain what his policies were, explain his thinking, explain his point of view. And of course, in this video, we're going to cover how the media was triggered that this was even going to happen, and then the meltdown that occurred after it happened, and a couple of the good points that he made during the interview. And you're going to want to stick around to the end of the video to see what these media puppets had to say about Elon Musk. It's absolutely pathetic. Let's play the video.
Expect out of this conversation that we're going to see tonight on Twitter?
Well, for one, I think it's going to be a very lighthearted conversation. Because Elon Musk has come out and endorsed Donald Trump, I expect this to be like a bromance type of an interview where they're supporting each other. I think that Elon Musk will let Donald Trump speak all of the falsehoods and misinformation that he wants. I mean, he's not a journalist. It's not his job necessarily. Does he want to be fact-checking all of the information? So I think it's just a platform for Donald Trump to come out and say whatever he wants. But the thing to remember, Cassie, is like the interview audience here is what Donald Trump needs. You see J.D. Vance going on Face the Nation, right? Sunday shows, traditional media, because he needs to get his name out there. Donald Trump's going the opposite route, right? He's talking to streamers and podcasters. He's going on X. He wants to rally up that sort of fringe online base. That's what Donald Trump is doing here tonight.
There is a real belief among the campaign that this election, and I think if you look at either side, they both believe this, is going to be decided by a finite number of voters. And the Trump campaign believes that they have to reach out to those voters in non-traditional ways. And part of that might be doing an interview with Elon Musk. Elon Musk has a big social media following. These are people who aren't going to tune into traditional news, who aren't going to follow politics in a traditional sense, but they are going to tune into Elon Musk doing a Twitter Spaces with Donald Trump. It's the same reason you saw him sit down with streamer Aiden Ross. It's the same reason he's been doing a series of podcasts and MMA stuff. This is a group of people who are probably first-time voters, potential voters, and they believe that those people would swing in favor of Donald Trump. So that's who they're trying to reach with these various kinds of events.
Yeah, they're just so delusional. First-time voters. I mean, do they not realize a lot of people are on the internet today? I mean, this isn't 2016. I find it funny how out of touch they are. They think that they are the only place where people get their news. In a lot of cases, they get their news before they even go to CNN. There's a lot of people who don't even watch CNN. They don't even care to. So I think it's very smart on President Trump to do an interview with Elon Musk. And if I was him, I would do that 100 times. Why? Because I'm given the opportunity to truly expand on my policies, on my positions, and my thoughts, versus going into an interview with CNN where every single sentence that comes out of my mouth, they're trying to fact check me. It almost turns into a debate, not an interview. And one thing that really, really got them so up in arms and triggered is what Trump had to say in this clip.
And the fact that they can't buy groceries because they don't have enough money to buy groceries. The inflation has killed them. Food prices are up 50, 60, even 100% in some cases. And this stupid administration allowed this to happen, and it's a shame. And that's the thing that people most care about, in my opinion. They care about the border a lot, and we discussed the border at great length. It's nice to have a forum like this where I can discuss something.
Yeah, a lot of people just don't understand where inflation comes from. Inflation comes from government overspending because the checks never bounce when it's written by the government. So if the government spends far more than it brings in, that increases the money supply. And if the money supply increases faster than the rate of goods and services, that's inflation. So really, we need to have we need to reduce our government spending, and we need to re-examine. I think we need like a government efficiency commission to say like, hey, where are we spending money that's sensible? Where is it not sensible? Right. And we need to live within our means. We're currently adding, I think, $1 trillion to the deficit roughly every 100 days.
That's right.
And the interest payments on the national debt have now exceeded the defense budget. I mean, I think it would be great to just have a government efficiency commission that takes a look at these things and just ensures that the taxpayer money, the taxpayers' hard-earned money, is spent in a good way. And I'd be happy to help out on such a commission.
I'd love
if
it.
it were formed.
All right, so that's just a little snippet of the interview from last night. And as you can see, it's a nice conversation, very calm, and there's a lot of points that are being made that are very clear to understand. And one of the biggest points that were really brought up was the deficiencies of the current administration and how they've caused this high level of inflation since 1940, and how gas and groceries and electricity and mortgage and rent and car payments are at an all-time high. These are facts. And so the media doesn't like that you have two billionaires having a conversation about this publicly, because that does what? It goes counter to the narrative that the propaganda news channels want to push right now. So of course they're going to come back the next day and get all up in arms about what took place. And furthermore, I guess a second point would be, it probably is a great idea to just have businessmen actually run the government moving forward and stop allowing career politicians who are controlled by elites and donors and private companies, because they never do anything for the American people. They sell us out in order to be paid by these elites. So let's take a look at what the media unfortunately had to say about this interview.
Elon Musk and the danger to democracy in it. Ed writes this: the key question is what, if anything, democracies can do to address the danger from Musk. It is one thing having a newspaper proprietor or the owner of a television station pushing their biases in their outlets. This has always happened, and it's protected speech. I have no idea what the best legal remedy would be that was consistent with democratic and free speech values. I do know, however, Ed writes, that whatever he says, Musk is no fan of either. He revels in conflict and is fascinated by the possibility of collapse. He's a disaster capitalist, a vicious troll, and a brilliant engineer rolled into one. And Caddy K, obviously, this is also a man who has made very clear his intention to support Donald Trump, as he did, giving him an open forum last night to millions of people. Elon Musk is on the side of Donald Trump in this election.
Yeah, whether he's a brilliant engineer after that 40 minutes we all spent kind of listening to clanky music, I'm not quite so sure. Or maybe he's fired too many brilliant engineers and they couldn't get it working again. I mean, what do you think in terms of the impact on some voters who might have sat through that 40-minute glitch, Ed, last night and actually listened to the content of the interview? What impact do you think Elon Musk has sort of on voters in particular and on this election?
Well, you're right about the engineering. I mean, if you can't get spaces working, you're going to have trouble settling Mars. Look, only about 1.3 million people listened to this. It took an age to begin, and I was one of those who did wait around for it to begin. And then, of course, it never ended. It just went on and on and on. It wasn't an interview. It was a very softball, quite eccentric conversation between a donor and his candidate. None of the tough questions were asked. I mean, Musk did try and sort of push some of his hobby horses, like controlling spending, which Trump would hear nothing of. Trump is not into controlling spending. But I think the net effect here is really just to confirm what we saw in Trump's press conference in Mar-a-Lago last week, and when he addressed the National Association of Black Journalists a couple of days before, which is that he isn't resetting. He's not a new Trump. He's not a disciplined, razor-like focused new candidate who is going to define Kamala Harris. He is, as somebody else made the analogy, he's like Spinal Tap on tour, an aging rock band on tour playing its greatest hits. I don't think he's going to come up with anything new.
Just pathetic. It really lousy take there from MSNBC. I mean, what else would we expect from people like that, right? They absolutely hate President Trump. There's no question about it. Let's cover a few points that he made. Okay, so Elon Musk is a threat to democracy now. Okay. And he's not a good engineer. Okay. So the guy who is the richest man in America. Okay. The guy where NASA has to depend on to get astronauts back home from the International Space Station. The guy that actually has a profitable car company that has not gone bankrupt, the only car company that has not gone bankrupt. Got it. The guy that's put internet in rural areas all around the world, making internet more accessible. That guy. Okay. Sure. You guys are right. No, of course they're not right. They're pathetic. They have to cope, right? They have to say something that's negative because they're so triggered that Elon Musk has this ability to go out there, say what he wants to say. He bought the platform that he wanted to buy. He changed it in the way that he wanted to change it. It was in his prerogative to do so. And now he has another billionaire to explain ideas and actually have a conversation, because that's what people want, and allowed us to truly hear what President Trump had to say on a number of issues. And my second point is, I wonder, will they have this same reaction to when Kamala Harris finally sits down and does an interview where she is going to ramble and make up stuff? Will they fact check her during the interview? Will they criticize her interview? Obviously they won't, because they're super biased. And it's funny that they want the protection of free speech, but when Elon Musk or Donald Trump or anyone who opposes their view of things, they don't deserve free speech. You see the double standard? That's why we have divisiveness in this country, because one side wants to censor people like you, like me, like Donald Trump, like Elon Musk, because we don't agree with the way they see things. And that's the whole point of our country, is we should be able to disagree in a respectful way. That's not what the media is all about right now. They want to eat their cake and have it too. So is Elon Musk a true threat to democracy? No, he's a true threat to them being able to control American people. Is President Trump a threat to democracy? Absolutely not. So let's take a look at all of the headlines that came out after this interview. Okay, as you guys can see, you got US Today talking about Trump rambles, slurs his way through Elon Musk's interview. It was a unmitigated disaster. Another news said, rambling Trump Musk interview marred by tech issues. Another one says, Donald Trump and Elon Musk X conversation took forever to start, then never ended. Okay, whatever. Elon Musk's interview with Donald Trump was an embarrassing disaster. Here's a good one from CNN. Musk tries to help Trump halt the Harris surge. I mean, oh my God, this is crazy. Elon Musk throws a Trump rally. Wow. I mean, they're just so triggered. It's just embarrassing. Okay, so it begs the question, what are they so triggered about, besides the fact that they actually had a legitimate conversation and people got to listen? And his whole point, well, it was only a 1 million views. That's incorrect, by the way. Between 7:47 and 10:47 p.m. Eastern, President Donald Trump's space post received 73 million views. That's actually more than the presidential debate between him and Biden. During the same period, there were 4 million posts about Elon Musk and President Trump's conversation on X, generating a total of 998 million views. So obviously this was last night. So there's no question that it's over 1 billion views by now. And they're so sick over that. You know, when someone's doing something so great and disruptive and not falling in line with what they want, meaning the media, what the Democratic Party want, they want to control everything. They're absolutely going to be sick over it. And so this is what Elon Musk had to say, combined views of this conversation with that real Donald Trump, and discussion by other accounts now 1 billion. Donald Trump posts an all-time record, but the media refuses to write about it because they are fake news. And that's absolutely true. They don't want to write about it. They don't want to be objective. They don't want to tell the truth because it makes Kamala Harris look bad. So as I wrap up this video today, I have 3 major points for you to take away from this video. Number one, President Trump is a human being just like you, just like me, and everybody else who criticizes him. And it's very good to hear what someone thinks about all of these different issues without interrupting them. Number two, they want to silence you. They want to silence me. They want to silence people who tell the truth. That's really what's going on in our country right now. The reason why they're so sick of Elon Musk and President Trump is because they're both rich, of course, but they're actually doing right by the American people, and they don't want that. They want the American people to feel like they need to be saved, that they need to be guided, and they need to be controlled by the government. And my final point is that when will Kamala Harris do something like this, where we get to hear what her policies are? There's a lot of people that were listening, a lot of people who joined me live to listen, that truly wanted to know what are the policy positions of President Trump. And they got to hear that last night. That's my mindset. What about you? What do you guys think about the interview? Did you listen to the interview? Did you join me live last night? I want to hear what your thoughts are and more, especially about the fake news media and how sick they are over this interview. I want to hear what your thoughts are. Thank you for checking out the video today. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Stay grateful, stay focused, and stay true. Peace.